Hi everyone, welcome to this week's reading. For this week is for the 3rd of April through to the 9th, and there's a lot going on astrologically this week, so I'm just going to go through what I've written down and talk to you about what to expect this week with the energies. So a lot of retrograde energies going on this week. So one of the main things this week is Saturn, which rules Capricorn, is the planet of reality, restriction, hard work, and life lessons, is going backwards from our perspective on Earth. It's retrograding. So that's going to be going backwards from 27 degrees of Sagittarius. So if you are a Sagittarius, and you especially if you have anything around the later degrees, or if you're born sort of, if your sun sign is Sagittarius, and that means you'll be, well, if your Saturn is affecting you now, it means you're born towards the end of Sagittarius, and you will be being affected by this. So I mentioned those people in particular, those late-born Sagittarian people. Saturn retrogrades back from 27 degrees, and as it goes backwards, what it's doing for those Sagittarian people is basically going to be bringing back some of the lessons that you've already been through this year and the last year, but it's just bringing them back up again for you to sort of finally kind of look at these issues and really move past these issues in your life, where in whatever way they've been manifesting, whether it's through relationships or through money situations or through communication problems, whatever it is. Now, just for everybody, the Saturn retrograde will affect everyone, and it will be retrograde until the 26th of August. So what you can expect for all signs is a bit of a slowdown period when Saturn retrogrades. So I always say, if you have Saturn retrograde, though, in your natal chart, it's going to be a little bit different in terms of the effects. It's possibly more of a time where you're going to be reaping what you've sown in the past. But for everybody else, it's more of a time of a bit of a slowdown. It's not the best time to take on something huge that's new in your life. Like between now and 26th of August, it's not the best time to buy a house or, do something huge in your life that, you just decide to do. The reason we say that is because it just makes it a lot harder and more testing for you if you start something new. Now, sometimes you can't help it. You've got to start something new that's big. And just know that if you do, expect some obstacles with it, some issues to iron out. It's not going to, run smoothly or perfectly. Okay, so it's good to know, good to have a heads up, because that way, having a heads up on that means that you won't be, greatly disappointed if there's, a number of obstacles that you have to face during that period. If you can wait, and, when it comes to something like buying a home or buying a brand new car or something along those lines, or, completely changing careers, if you wait till after the 26th of August, it's going to flow much more smoothly for you, especially for those people that are Capricorns, I would say, and Sagittarians. But for people in general, it relates to Saturn retrograde. Also, we have Venus retrograde still. But this week we have Venus moving back into Pisces, onto the 29th degree of Pisces. So, it's a little bit of a tricky one, because the 29th degree is, as I've mentioned many times before, it's the critical degree in astrology. And the critical degree basically is, to do with real tests in those areas. So this is going to test this week, and it's going to be around basically tomorrow. It goes tomorrow, and it depends where you are in the world, but it's Monday here in Australia. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, let's say, it's going to be on 29 degrees of Pisces. If you have anything in your chart, Venus on 29 degrees of Pisces, or Sun on 29 degrees of Pisces, or around that, you might be having some issues with relationships or with finances, okay? And it's something that needs to come up to be, faced and dealt with. And it could be a little bit tricky, but it actually, is basically getting you to the next level, but it's something that needs to come up there that you do need to deal with there. It also will affect late-born Virgos as well, and have some effects on late-born Sagittarians and Geminis, okay? Now, Mercury is currently in Taurus, and the retrograde of Mercury actually begins on the 21st of April, so not this week, but next week. And so, it's in that period now that's just before the Mercury retrograde, and being that it's going to be in the sign of Taurus, that can affect very practical matters around communication, but also to do with finances. When Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Taurus, and it's also going to go back into Aries, firstly, while it's retrograding Taurus for the first half of April, some people can have, issues with banking because Taurus relates to money. Also can relate to relationships as well because Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is also retrograde. So it's kind of a double up with the retrograde energies there. Yeah, so, okay. Issues with banking, issues with finances, issues in miscommunications in relationships, text messages, to do with relationships or finances. Even, have a look, if you know your chart, have a look where you have Taurus and where the Mercury is retrograding, because that will be helpful to see where to be, just to double check everything, And as I've said before, and I've said it many times, if you have Mercury retrograding in your natal chart like I do, it's actually more of a positive time for you. It's not such a glitchy time, though. Problems can still happen, but it's more things coming back to you, information coming back to you, even rewards coming back to you, or money coming back to you that was lost, or issues like that. So, but, technically, as I said, it starts next week, but it's kind of still, the energy is still, it's around because it's building up to Mercury retrograde. Jupiter is still retrograde. And yeah, the main thing this week, as I said, was Saturn retrograde, but there's a lot of info there, so you might want to listen to it twice. If you are into astrology, I do give a bit more information because I know a lot of people, are interested in astrology, are trying to learn astrology. Once you get a taste for astrology, you realize how accurate it is and how it's such a great tool for self-awareness. So, that's why I give a bit more detail. So let's see what cards are coming through this week. This one's flipped itself over, so I'm going to choose that one there. And just so you know, I'm using cards from the Llewellyn Tarot this week. And just to let everybody know, if you would like a personal reading with me, you can go to my Etsy store and purchase a reading there. I have a variety of different readings. I do tarot, astrology reports, transit reports, see what's going on around you. And I have a couple of discounted offers at the moment, which you can see on my Facebook page or my Twitter. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram under Susan Starlight. You can follow me on the Facebook page, Susan Rodeo, astrologer, psychic medium. And YouTube, I have 2 channels. This channel and one where I talk about astrology. Let's see, where am I drawn to? My hand really wants to go there. Okay. I talk about astrology on my other channel and also other spiritual topics as well. So let's see what comes up for this week. These cards a little bit here. Oh, I've used this cloth again, which always, I forgot that it just makes it awkward. Alright, let me see. Sorry, there's some shine there. I'm trying to make sure there's no glare happening. Okay, let's go one card at a time. Ooh, Rhiannon. Is that what it says here? Rhiannon, the Empress. Wow, what a beautiful card. So, alright, so this week there is something that comes up around the goddess energy, which is really beautiful, and fertility and abundance. I absolutely love the depiction in this card. She's so immersed in nature. So for some people, there is something to do with nature. Getting into nature as a way to de-stress yourself works really well. For some reason, I'm drawn to the animals here. There's a sort of relief effect of a horse here, and a couple of birds. Looks like, it could be like a condor and some other kind of messenger type bird. And there's also some birds here, like 2 cranes. And cranes symbolize luck and fortune, and the horse symbolizes freedom, and the birds symbolize spirit messages, but also signs from spirit, basically. And the Empress is about a lot of different things, but as I said, fertility, pregnancy, abundance, and really tapping into that abundant flow. And there's nothing better than when you just feel that sense of abundance in yourself, in life. And it doesn't mean that you have everything, and you don't have to have everything that you want even, but just that feeling of absolute gratitude for your life, for what you're doing with your life, for how far you've come in your life, and looking at the actual of how far you've come, not comparing yourself to other people, but comparing yourself to your own journey. It's a very rewarding feeling, and this is really what I'm getting with this sense of inner freedom, this sense of inner abundance, and that is going to help you attract more abundance in your life the more you tap into that beautiful feeling. And it's also, the Empress is also a Venus card as well. So here we have the 9 of Swords, and I'm going to turn the other one over, the 2 of Swords. Oh, interesting. So the swords always relate to the mental realm and the thinking realm. And so this week there's a lot of mental worries going on, a lot of thinking going on, a lot of indecision as well. So for some people there's this feeling of anxiety, which is it's very much peaking at the moment. And that will relate to a lot of the retrograde energies. You know, there can be concerns about finances, about relationships, about a whole lot of things to do with life. And it's not surprising, you know, anxiety is such an issue in society at this time because of the way society is structured. You know, there's a lot of dysfunctional sort of ways that society has, unfortunately, but it's up to us to find the beauty and the creativity, hence the Empress card, in the world in the way that we can express it. And yeah, you know, we all get caught up in the negative things of the world and the injustice in the world, and, you know, and even in our own personal lives, what we struggle with personally, whether it is finances, whether it's, you know, your beliefs, whether it's your values, or struggling with other people who, you know, whose ideas clash with your own, because again, this is a sword, so it's to do with the mental realm of thinking and belief systems and thought. So this week there's a lot of tension in the air and there's a lot of difficulty here, but it can be overcome. And the Two of Swords talks about needing to make a decision in your life, but what I'm feeling with this is it's not quite the right time to make that decision just yet, though it feels like it will be soon. So for some people it's about trying to make a decision that you just can't make just yet, and knowing that, you know, it's something that for some people could resolve around mid-April. So more towards, let me just have a look at the astrology, because I think it relates to the Venus retrograde as I say that, because that's what I'm feeling. Yeah, so the 15th of April, Venus goes direct. See, the reason I'm mentioning that because we have the Venus card here. And so for some people, this issue is about relationships. And, you know, whether it's work relationships or a relationship that you're in or any other connection that you have with people, it's about having to make some kind of decision but not being ready just yet. So that is one of the major meanings. I'm just going to see if there was anything else. Okay, there is something else that I'm getting here very strongly with this. For some people, this is about duality in issues that you've had in your own self. So it's about coming out of duality. With the Two of Swords, there's that indecisiveness or that inability to reconcile two parts of your personality, two parts of yourself that may be at odds with each other and causing issues around abundance in your life, represented by the Empress. So the more you work through your issues, and this could be more for this particular message could be more for the mutable signs, the Sagittarius, Geminis, Pisces and Virgo, because that's just what's coming to me very strongly. So those signs may have more struggles internally with internal issues, and so it's basically telling you to continue working on your inner self so that you can become more whole from within yourself, rather than, you know, seeking that external gratification, again represented by the Empress, because that could be a dark side of the Empress, dark side of Venus, seeking external gratification too much at the detriment of your inner self. And there's a lot of anxiety going here, but this can be resolved, and it's just a matter of, you know, working to become more whole within yourself, which takes time, effort and awareness and practice. Okay, so that was a long reading for this week, and that was all I had to say with that. Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and as I said, if you'd like a private reading with me, follow the links below. The current turnaround time is approximately from 5 to 10 business days, depending on what you order. Thank you so much. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.